All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to be unpacking some serious wisdom. We're talking about Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, this book has been around for a while, but you know what? Its lessons on money and wealth still super relevant. So, our mission today is to extract those core nuggets of wisdom, those actionable insights, the things you can actually use, right now.
What's interesting about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, to me at least, is that it isn't just about, getting rich. It's about understanding the whole thing, how money works and how your mindset, how you think about money, that can really influence, really make a difference on your financial outcomes.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Kiyosaki uses his own upbringing, his story, to kind of drive that point home. He talks about having two dads, his biological father, the poor dad, and then his friend's father, the rich dad. But here's the thing. The rich dad, he wasn't really formally educated. He was more of a street smart entrepreneur.
Yeah.
While the poor dad, he was highly educated, but always seemed to be struggling financially.
And that's the contrast that really sets the stage for like the important lessons in the book. For example, one of the first ones that Kiyosaki talks about is work to learn, not just for money. It's not about just chasing a paycheck, right? It's about gaining knowledge, valuable financial knowledge and skills that you can then use to build real wealth.
It's like that story, I think he tells it early on in the book, that working for his rich dad for something like 10 cents an hour as a kid. I mean, what a tough lesson to learn at that age.
But it wasn't about the money, was it? It was about the education. That experience taught him about business, about cash flow, and just about the whole mindset of wealth creation, almost like an apprenticeship for financial freedom.
Makes sense when you put it like that. I think we've all felt that feeling at some point, right? Stuck in the rat race, working, spending, and then working more just to pay the bills. It feels like you're just running on a wheel sometimes. And Kiyosaki's rich dad really wanted him to break free from that. So how did he suggest doing that?
By minding your own business. Now, he's not saying everybody needs to go out and become an entrepreneur, right? He's talking about building your own asset column, things that actually put money in your pocket instead of just relying on a job for your income.
So it's not just about what you earn then, it's more about what you own and what generates income for you. Real estate is a great example, right?
Oh, absolutely. Think about Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's.
Yeah.
His real genius was in the real estate. He was strategically acquiring the land underneath his franchises because he understood the long-term value. It was that land. That land was working for him, generating income.
That's such a great point. Because even if our listeners don't have, tons of money to invest right now, there are still ways to start building that asset column, like maybe taking an online course, learning a new skill that you can market, or even something like renting out a spare room. It's about starting somewhere, right? No matter how small.
One of the things that really made me think in this book was Kiyosaki's take on taxes and the whole power of corporations. He actually says that rich people don't pay taxes the same way the rest of us do.
Wait, hold on. Really? How is that even possible?
Well, his rich dad, he believed that corporations could be used in a strategic way to reduce your tax burdens. And he goes into the history of income tax, how it was originally intended to target the wealthy, but it ended up hitting the middle class way harder.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. Makes you think about, the intended impact of something versus the actual impact.
For sure. And Kiyosaki's point is, the wealthy use corporations to their advantage, taking deductions for business expenses and leveraging the different tax rates. It's not about doing anything illegal or anything like that. It's about understanding the rules and using them strategically.
Okay, so what does that mean for our listeners? We'd all be running out to incorporate.
Well, hold on. Remember, this isn't financial advice or anything. It's about being financially aware. So if you have significant assets or maybe a growing business, then exploring those benefits of incorporating could be a really smart move. But always do your research. Talk to the professionals.
Right. Always do your homework. Okay, so it's about educating yourself, expanding your options. And speaking of thinking outside the box, this next lesson really caught my eye. Kiyosaki says, the rich invent money. What does that even mean? Is he talking about like printing your own cash or something?
Not quite. It's about financial intelligence, being able to spot opportunities, and then using that knowledge to create wealth. It's about thinking creatively.
I like that. He tells this story, right, about buying a house for like $20,000 under asking price and then flipping it for $40,000 profit. Now that's making money work for you.
Exactly. It's not about luck. It's about seeing the potential that others might miss, understanding the market, and then taking calculated risks. It's about having that entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah. But let's face it, sometimes it feels like there are these roadblocks, right? On the path to success. What are some of the challenges that Kiyosaki highlights in the book?
He talks about 5 main obstacles that can really hold people back: fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, and arrogance. These are internal hurdles, you know, and they can be just as tough as any external financial obstacle.
I think a lot of people struggle with fear, especially when it comes to money. That fear of making a mistake, of losing money, failing, it can be paralyzing.
Oh, absolutely. Fear is powerful. And Kiyosaki encourages readers to face those fears head on, to develop a more positive mindset, a mindset of empowerment. He talks about finding mentors,
Yeah.
people who have achieved what you want to achieve, and learning from their experience.
Yeah, mentorship is so valuable. Having that guidance,
Right.
having somebody to share their knowledge.
And to support you.
It can give you practical insights and strategies,
Yeah.
but also the confidence to actually take action. Like
Yeah.
having a financial coach in your corner, right? Cheering you on, helping you through the rough patches. I love that. And speaking of taking action, Kiyosaki gives some pretty practical advice on how to start building your financial intelligence. It's not about waiting for a lottery win or something. It's about taking steps, right, towards your goals. What are some of the things he suggests?
He recommends attending seminars, reading books on finance and investing, and even just making offers, even if they seem small or insignificant at first. It's all about building momentum, developing your financial muscles.
Yeah, sometimes people get intimidated, right, by the idea of having to change everything overnight. But Kiyosaki really stresses that. You can start small. It's about that consistent action, even if it's just one small step each day. So what would you say is one actionable step that our listeners could take today to start building that financial knowledge?
One simple thing could be just setting a budget. It doesn't have to be anything too complicated.
Right.
But when you start tracking your income and expenses, you really start to see, you get insights into where your money's actually going.
Right, it's about taking control instead of just letting it all slip through your fingers.
Exactly. And that awareness is like the first step towards making smarter financial decisions. Now, Kiyosaki doesn't just talk about building wealth. He talks about financial freedom and having options.
It's not just about retiring early, sipping cocktails on a beach somewhere, although that does sound nice.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's about having that ability to choose how you spend your time and your resources. Maybe you want to start that business you've always dreamed of. Travel the world, spend more time with family. It's about aligning your financial goals with your values and what you really want out of life.
That's powerful, creating a life you actually want, not one dictated by, financial limitations.
Absolutely. And it actually leads me to something that Kiyosaki doesn't explicitly mention in the book, but it really builds on everything he talks about. It's about finding your life path.
Finding your life path. Okay, I'm listening.
It's about understanding what truly motivates you, what gives your life meaning, what's your purpose, maybe tied to your job, your passions, relationships, or even how you contribute to the world around you.
So you're saying it's about connecting those financial goals
Yes.
to a deeper sense of purpose.
Exactly. When you know what your life path is, your financial goals, they become more than just numbers. They're like stepping stones to a life that's both fulfilling and financially secure.
That's a great way to put it. It's not just about the money then. It's about using those resources to build a life of meaning.
Exactly. So as we wrap up our deep dive here on Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I want to leave you with this. What is your life path? What are those things you're truly passionate about? And how can you align your financial goals with those values and aspirations?
That's a great question for all of us to think about. This has been a fantastic journey exploring Kiyosaki's lessons. They really are timeless. I hope our listeners are feeling inspired and motivated. Remember, financial freedom is possible. It starts with shifting that mindset, committing to learning about finances, and being willing to take action.
Don't wait for that perfect moment. Start small, keep learning, and keep growing.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.